I played Muradin to level 25. Here's what I learned. If you're like me, you play a lot of quick match, so you're familiar with a lot of nonsense team comps like this, and this, and this, but it doesn't have to be this way. Allow me to change your life with this one simple trick, ranked draft. I'm just kidding, no one plays ranked. But actually for realsies, the trick is to play tank.
Ugh, gross, no, the pressure, ugh.
Hey now, don't fret, it's not that scary. There is, in the game, since its inception, the perfect hero for new tanks. Hell, he's one of the first 3 heroes you can get. Can you guess who it is? It's Muradin! You're a genius. He's the gateway drug to tanking. Look at all these tricks. A large regenerating health pool, a versatile escape and engage tool, and big-ass hammers to smack a fool. Though he's not as good at locking down other heroes compared to other tanks, Muradin commands the attention of the enemy team. Between abusing his self-healing to eat enemy abilities, or stomping all over the opposing backline, Muradin is an effective and safe hero with which to test your limits. For starters, Muradin is one healthy boy. At level 1, he boasts the 6th highest health pool in the game. But these raw numbers lie, like your dad when he said he was going to the store. Muradin's defining ability is his trait, Second Wind. This reliable self-heal is a tank's wet dream, especially in solo queue. A short little wait and your health comes back, unlike your dad. This makes Muradin a very forgiving hero to play. You engage, trade some damage, take a breather, and get back in there. Being able to regenerate health quickly allows Muradin and his team to apply consistent pressure to the enemy, which frees up space for plays, especially early game. Opposing healer backs for mana? Rotate with your DPS to gank the offlane. Enemy tank has to reset? Pressure their walls to break open their defenses. You are active while the enemy is not, and this must be leveraged into an advantage. The rest of Muradin's kit lends itself well to the micro game. Stormbolt is a hard-hitting, short-range, stunning skill shot that heralds most of Muradin's murders. Now this may sound surprising, but the angry hammer-throwing dwarf's not very subtle. Everyone is watching for Stormbolt. Your friends want to follow up, and your enemies want to dodge it. Stormbolt has a 10-second cooldown, which isn't super punishing, but if you miss, you're essentially a roided up melee minion, and everyone saw it. But all hope is not lost. Muradin comes out the box with toys to make his life easier. Thunderclap damages and slows enemy targets around Muradin. The slow is what's important. It reduces move speed by 30% for 2.5 seconds, which is plenty of time to land a stun. Additionally, it slows enemy attack speed by 30% for the same duration, which can really mess with auto attack heavy heroes. But that won't stop Twin Blades Varian from trying his best. That'll be a fun video. You'll be up close and personal with your opponents anyway, so you might as well clap them before you slap them. Fight smarter, not harder. And it's really easy to close the gap as Muradin. Dwarf Toss lets Muradin Goomba stomp his enemies. And before you start angry typing at me, let me say you should not be using this to engage 100% of the time. Dwarf Toss is a powerful positioning tool. It also gives you 30 armor, just because. The 10-second cooldown is exploitable, and the jump can be interrupted, but generally people save their crowd control for a squishier target than Muradin, though sometimes the enemy just wants you dead. Regardless, Dwarf Toss gives you options. Now you might be thinking, damn, this hero has everything. Stuns, slows, healing, mobility. What possible weaknesses could he have? Well, for one, he's not very good on his own. And while he does good damage, and his trait lets him trade effectively in the solo lane, you really shouldn't be there. His wave clear is... his wave clear is... Look, you can do it? You just shouldn't. Avoid soloing the offlane unless absolutely necessary. It's possible to take camps quickly with a specific talent, but again, there's better people for the job, and you have teams to fight. Like I said earlier, Muradin also is not the best at locking down enemy heroes. Extended fights with Muradin tend to shuffle around a bit. You might find that the fights are anchored more around the enemy tank. It's not a huge issue, it's just something to watch for. On top of this, you might find yourself running out of mana. Muradin's spells are expensive, and you need to use them constantly. His high uptime due to his healing means that if you don't manage your mana bar, you might find it empty at an inopportune time. It does get better at level 10. At that point, your auto attacks will start generating mana, but it's not limitless. A good Muradin will keep a little gas in the tank in case of emergencies. Speaking of level 10, ultimate time, Avatar lets you channel your inner Sam Sulek, expanding your meat by 1,000 beefy bits before scaling. Also, secret buff, Avatar slightly increases Muradin's attack range. These pocket steroids increase both your maximum and current health pool, and when they wear off, only your maximum health health is reduced. It's basically a healing potion. If you're dying a lot before level 10, or you find you could have secured those kills if you just had a little bit more hit points, Avatar can give you the boost you need to succeed. But let's be honest, you're gonna pick Haymaker. I don't even know where to start with this one. It's one of those talents that can tilt your team, and for good reason. But first things first, it's a point and click ability that instantly stuns a target. Then, after a short delay, the enemy is knocked back a fair distance. You can treat this ultimate like a reverse Stitches hook, jumping behind the target and knocking them back into your team. It can finish off wounded heroes, either from the ability itself, or using some poor sucker to paint the floor with their friends. The issue is, it can really mess up your team's plans. Communication is key. If your team is reliably confirming kills, please hold your Haymakers. Please. Better to have it and not need it than to use it and lose it. Haymaker is also kinda janky. It can have some weird interactions with other hero abilities, and it can knock people through terrain and structures. Again, blessing and a curse. Used appropriately, it's an incredibly powerful ability, and honestly, it's a ton of fun. As always, you should build to what's appropriate for your team, the enemy team, and the match, but I really like these talents. Skullcracker, at level 7, nearly doubles the damage on every third basic attack on the same target. More importantly, it does a tiny little stun, which is great for throwing people off balance and interrupting channeled abilities, like a Nazebo Ghost. You have a 5-second grace period between attacks before the attack counter resets. Bronzebeard Rage, at level 13, adds a damage aura to Muradin. Muradin is healed for 75% of this damage done, which adds up quickly if stuck in a group of enemies. Stormbolting an enemy also triples the aura's damage for 3 seconds. I remember this being absolutely busted when they reworked Muradin, and even after nerfs, it's still strong. Finally, Rewind, at level 20. Ooh, I jump in and hit you with my full combo. Now I'm gonna do it again. That's all for now. Thanks for watching. How would you rate Muradin against other tanks? Is there a better choice of frontline for new players? Let me know what you think in the comments. Bye-bye.